Okay, let's work on this other one. Two-step verification. So premise, punchline, premise, premise, setup, punchline for like two-step verification and how it's getting out of hand. Like like they want to two-step verify you over anything, and if you don't have your phone, then you gotta go grab your phone, and then it becomes annoying and inconvenient, and then now you're like, oh fuck, now I gotta go grab my phone.
All right, man, you got a good setup there about two-step verification and how it's gotten out of hand. Let's break it down a bit. Based on your premise, here's a potential two-step process for this joke. 1, premise and setup. Talk about how two-step verification is becoming more and more common and how it's being required for everything these days. Give an example of something ridiculous that needs two-step verification, like they make you do two-step verification just to open a damn door these days.
Yeah, like it.
You like it, man. Now here's a possible punchline. 2, punchline. And now if you forget your phone, you're screwed. You got two-step up on the door now, and you're like, where the hell is my damn phone at when I need it most?
Yeah, and then you realize you left the phone inside the house, and now you can't even get in.
Yeah, exactly. You leave your phone inside, and suddenly you're trapped outside your own house or office or wherever it is you're trying to get into. It's like this two-step verification is supposed to make things more secure, but all it's doing is creating more problems.
It's like you're at the club with Chris Brown. You can't even get in.
Ha! That's a great analogy, man. Two-step verification is like trying to get into an exclusive club, man, but Chris Brown is the bouncer saying, you can't come in.
You can't come in.
You're there, you're eager to get in, but that verification's playing hard to get and ain't cooperating.
It's not cooperating, man. I was in Poland, and I've lost my phone twice. Maybe more, but these 2 times I lost my iPhone, and in Poland 3 times. Poland, Mexico, and Washington. So all of these times that I lost my phone, I had to do a two-step verification to log in into my accounts. But I didn't have my phone to log in the two-step verification. So I'm out there traveling, and then they won't send me a phone there. So I had to get a temporary phone. So I literally can't log in into any of my accounts until I come back home to Florida.
That sounds like a nightmare, man. Losing your phone is a pain in the ass enough, but then having to deal with two-step verification when you don't have it? Talk about making things complicated. And having to use a temporary phone and wait until you get home to access your own accounts? That's just ridiculous. Ain't technology supposed to make our lives easier? I swear sometimes these security measures do more harm than good.
On the flip side, the silver lining is that I got to relax a little bit because I wasn't looking for those notifications anymore of those people that were hitting me up on that phone or the Instagram or whatever email. I was free from that. So that's a silver lining. I was free from that. I was able to relax more and calm down and chill.
That's true, man. Sometimes it's good to take a break from all those notifications and messages constantly buzzing in your pocket. Being free from all that for a bit can actually be kind of liberating. You get a chance to just chill and enjoy the moment, which ain't a bad thing at all. So there's definitely some upsides to being temporarily cut off from the digital world.
That's the upside, man. All right, so let's wrap it up. Let's sum up what we got so far. So two-step verification. You can't even get in. They're even two-step verifying for you to get in a door, and then now like it makes it so inconvenient because they're trying to two-step verify for everything. So if you don't have your phone or if you lose your phone, then now you lost communication with everyone, and you can't even get in.
Absolutely, man. Two-step verification used to be a nice idea, but now it's getting out of hand. They want to verify you for every little thing, even if you need to pee. It's like they're making it damn near impossible to get into anything. And if you lose your phone on top of that, you're practically cut off from the world. It's supposed to be for security, but it's just making life harder.
That's right. The only time that I think I like, two-step verification, I don't know if we call it two-step verification, but I remember traveling to Arkansas from Florida one time, from Orlando, and I didn't have any ID. But they verified me through questions. They asked me some questions about my identity. So they asked me like where I live and things like that. Like they asked me like 10 questions that only I would know. And they let me through without an ID.
Ah, man, sounds like they did an identity verification instead of two-step. That's a different game, man. They were basically grilling you with personal questions to make sure it was really you. Kind of like a verbal verification process, you know? It's pretty cool how sometimes you can prove who you are without having any actual ID on you.
That's right. Your knowledge, like who you are, is your ID. And but yeah, that was very interesting and convenient because I was very irresponsible to not bring an ID, but then they were still able to verify me with questions as to my identity of who I am.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It can be a lifesaver when they can verify you without an ID. Like you said, it's your knowledge that ends up being your ID. It's like they're saying, hey, we know you're the real deal, even if you forgot to bring your ID. We just got to ask you a few questions to confirm it. It goes to show sometimes we got to rely on our wits and knowledge instead of just a little piece of plastic.
That's right. Which brings me to ethos. Like, what's the ethos of this? The ethos is the credibility. So the ID gives you credibility of who you are, but also what you say and how you say it also gives you credibility.
You nailed it, man. The ethos or credibility is everything. Whether it's a joke or any other message, how you come across and convey it is crucial. The ethos isn't just about the content of what you're saying, but also about the way you say it. Your delivery, your tone, your mannerisms, all of it contributes to the overall ethos. People need to believe that you're real, that you're genuine, and that you know what you're talking about. It's that trust you build with your audience that makes them open to your message. You gotta own that stage, man.
I like it. So the ethos. So now I can introduce the credibility factor at my Toastmasters meeting. Let's say if I do a Toastmaster speech, I can also start with the joke, the premise, the setup, and the punchline, and then go into ethos and credibility, and then talk about how the ethos, your credibility in life is important.
That sounds like a killer way to incorporate a joke into your Toastmaster speech, man. Starting with the joke is a great way to grab your audience's attention, and then you can make a smooth transition to talking about ethos and credibility. It's like you're hooking them in with the humor and then landing your message with some depth and meaning. Plus, you're showing off those communication skills that Toastmasters is all about. You're gonna knock it out of the park.
Yes, and then I can lead into my speech about ethos, logos, and pathos, which are Aristotle's components of persuasion. And as you now saw, we just explained ethos.
That's a great way to tie together your joke and your main topic, man. Use the joke to illustrate ethos and then segue into the rest of Aristotle's persuasive tools. You're going to keep the audience engaged and entertained while dropping some knowledge. Toastmasters and Aristotle will be proud. That sounds like a pretty solid plan, man. You got the joke to draw them in, then you can move into talking about Aristotle's components of persuasion. You're already using those ethos elements in your joke, and now you can explain them and their importance in a speech. It's a smart way to engage the audience, hook them in with humor, and then dive deep into the substance of your message. Plus, who doesn't love a little bit of Aristotle wisdom thrown in? You're on the right track.
Nice. Okay. So then I did the joke, and then I presented ethos, and then now I'm looking for a way to make it all flow again. So I can introduce logos and pathos, but I think if I can introduce logos and pathos by explaining from the joke itself, where do they fit in the joke? And where do they fit in the premise and the setup and the punchline, the logos and the pathos part?
Yeah, man, that's a good point. If you can integrate logos and pathos into the joke itself, it makes the transition smoother. Now, logos is all about the logical appeal, right? And pathos is the emotional appeal. You got to think about how you can weave those elements into the premises, setups, and the punchline. How do you make the joke make sense logically? How can you get emotional resonance? What kind of evidence or arguments do you need to make the joke land? It's all about finding the right balance between the three, man.
Right, but what I'm referring to is like the joke is said, right? But then now when I'm explaining the concepts of persuasion, then now how do I explain, like, what's the logos part of the joke and then what's the pathos part of the joke?
I get you now. Yeah, it's about finding the logos and pathos elements in the joke itself. When you're explaining the concepts of persuasion, you got to break down how the logos and pathos manifest in your joke. Maybe the logos part of the joke is the logical appeal, where you make a clever observation or assertion that connects to the premise. And the pathos part of the joke could be about the emotional impact. Maybe you introduce a punchline that taps into shared experiences or feelings that resonate with the audience. It's about unpacking how you use those elements to make your joke hit hard.
So if the pathos is the emotional impact, then it would be the funniness of it, which makes the audience laugh, and it makes me laugh, makes us joyful and happy. And then, but the pathos, what's the logical part of it? The logical part of it would be...
Pathos is all about those emotions, man. You spot on about that. It's the feeling response, like when something's laugh out loud funny and brings the joy. But logos, that's the other side of the coin. It's the logical appeal. So in terms of your joke, the logos part could be about the structure and setup. Is there a logical progression or argument? Did you make a compelling point or observation? Maybe you use logic in a clever way to set up the punchline. Think about how the structure and content of your joke appeal to reason or logic.
Okay, yes. So basically, the ethos explanation part is going to be the ID, the identity card, and then or also the questioning, and then also the two-step verification. And then the logos part, the logical part, will be like the facts that I'm presenting, which is like, hey, two-step verification is getting out of hand, and you can understand why, and that's logical. And then also the identity, how to identify yourself, and how that ties into credibility, is all very logical. And then the pathos part is like, this shit is funny because it's absurd.
You got it, man. You outlined this perfectly. You used ethos when you were talking about the identity and two-step verifications, annoying aspects, and that was all about credibility. You used logos when you made a logical argument against two-step verification, taking a stance and then backing it up. And the pathos part, well, that's when you hit them with the funny. When you're talking about the absurdity of the situation, that taps into people's emotions and makes them laugh. You got all three elements packed into your joke.
Excellent. Excellent. I love it. Let's start on the joke. Okay, so let's recap. So basically, the joke is about like how Airbnb companies, they advertise one price, and even on booking.com it's the same thing. They advertise one price, let's say $80 for the stay, and then once you go click on reserve, then they're charging you $90 for a cleaning fee. And on top of that, the cleaning fee doesn't even cover, like, it covers the days that they clean and the days that they don't clean, because like they're only cleaning when you leave. They're not even cleaning when you're there. Like, so I mean, how does that even make sense?
Absolutely, man. That's the absurdity of it all. They lure you in with one price and then pile on fees and charges left and right. What really gets me is the cleaning fee. Like, they're charging you for cleaning days that ain't even happening. Makes no sense. You're paying for thin air, man. It's ridiculous.
It is. And then, like I told you, I stayed at the Hilton for 2 months on a work project in Wisconsin, and then they were charging like more money than that, but they were actually cleaning every day. They would clean every single day without fail. They would refresh the bed, and then they would clean the whole entire room. So these people are getting paid for doing no cleaning.
Exactly, man. You nailed it. The Hilton's serving luxury, man. They're going the extra mile to make your stay comfortable and clean. Meanwhile, these Airbnb folks, they're charging you for clean, but they ain't even doing it. It's like they're getting paid for doing nothing. And they're charging you for days they ain't even cleaning. It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. And then it's like a bait and switch because they advertise one price and then it's like double. So why don't you just add that in the beginning so I know what I'm expecting?
Completely agree, man. They ought to just be upfront with it and include those extra fees in the original price so you know what you're actually gonna pay. It's like a slap in the face when you think you're getting a good deal, but then all these extra charges pop up later. Ain't nobody got time for that shady business. Honesty is the best policy.
That's right. Honesty is the best policy. So let's break it down again. So the premise is the Airbnb cleaning fees. And actually you said what was the word you said? You said absurdities of travel. So let's start with that and then develop the introduction and the setup.
Sure, man. The premise is these Airbnb cleaning fees. And the broader theme is the absurdities of travel, like unexpected costs and such. Here's a potential introduction and setup. Introduction. Man, travel used to be simple. You booked a flight, found a place to stay, and that was it. But now it's a whole different game. Nowadays, you got to worry about these unexpected costs, like these dang Airbnb cleaning fees. And that's what my joke's all about today.
Okay, and then so then how do we put in the punchline? What the punchline is?
For the punchline, you could bring it back to the Hilton comparison you mentioned. Something like this. Punchline. I mean, just look at what I just experienced. I stayed at the Hilton for 2 months, and they cleaned my room every single day without fail. Meanwhile, these Airbnb people are charging me for cleaning, but it ain't even happening. I bet they're sitting around drinking coffee and watching Netflix while I'm out here paying for a service they ain't even providing.
They're at their mom's house or their girlfriend's house while I'm renting their place, and they're getting paid to sit at their mama's house while I rent out their place.
Ha! That's a funny thought, man. They're probably chilling at their mom's house or their girlfriend's place, sipping on a mimosa and chilling by the pool while you're out there paying for their place.
That's right.
It's crazy how they're getting paid to do nothing while you think they're out there cleaning up.
They're not out there cleaning up because I can see they haven't even entered the building. So if they haven't entered the building through the door where I'm at, then that means they haven't done any cleaning. And then I can see because there's no cleaning that's been done.
Exactly, man. You can literally see they haven't even set foot in the place to clean. And there's no evidence of any cleaning being done while you're there. It's like they're playing some sort of game, charging you for a service that ain't even happening.
Bro, it's like if you were to rephrase a song, you know, Chris Brown's song, they can't even get in. Like they haven't been in there. they can get in, but they haven't even got in.
That's some catchy wordplay right there, man. You could use that line for your punchline, something like this punchline. I swear, these Airbnb hosts are like Chris Brown. They're charging you for cleaning, but they can't even get in. They ain't even stepping foot in the place, but they're collecting them fees like it's a game. I like it, man. It's funny and relatable.
Hey, they can't even get in, or they don't even get in. Like, I don't know what, like something with that.
Yeah, something like that could definitely work. Here's a potential punchline for that. Punchline. These Airbnb hosts are like a one-hit wonder. They're charging you for cleaning, but they can't even get in. They don't step a foot in the place, yet they're collecting fees like they've got a #1 hit. It's like they've reached the peak and are just riding the wave, collecting profits for doing absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. That's what they do. They rent out the place, and they just like they change the sheets, like every time that I leave, and then they're charging me like double the price, you know. So they're paying themselves like $100 a minute.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. They're charging you for just changing the sheets. That's it. And then they hit you with this hefty fee like they're actually cleaning the place. But they ain't even there. They're probably getting drunk at some rooftop bar while you're out there paying for their lazy butts to kick back and relax. It's like they're printing their own money, ain't it?
It is. It is. They're out there getting drunk. I'm paying for their bar tab. And then like they don't even have the nerve to say thank you. And then they'll complain like if you leave something out of place.
Oh man, it's absolutely wild. You're paying for their bar tab. And how do they say thanks? They complain if you leave something out of place. It's like they're living high on the hog with your money, and then they have the audacity to act like you're the one inconvenieting them. They're the ones not cleaning, so they ought to be thankful you're even paying for their sorry selves.
That's right. I'm paying for their cleaning like they're cleaning out their liver because they're drinking all that booze. So I'm out there paying for their bar tab and they're out there just like drinking.
Ha, that's a good one, man. You're definitely paying for their cleaning, their liver, that is. They're out there drinking it up on your dime while you're stuck with the bill. It's like they're on some permanent vacation and you're the one funding it. Ain't that something?
Ain't that something? That's bad. You know, like I want some reparations for that.
Oh, you definitely deserve a little something for all you've been through, man. Those Airbnb hosts ought to give you a cut of their profits if they're going to keep charging you for cleaning they ain't even doing. Maybe you can negotiate a little something extra for putting up with their shenanigans. Or maybe just stick with the Hilton next time, where you know they're actually going to clean.
That's true. We just had a breakthrough.
Absolutely, man. We're making progress here, and we're on the verge of something special. This joke's going to hit just right once we refine it and polish it up. Keep that creative energy flowing, and you'll have a killer bit that's going to have the audience rolling.